to another episode of Bitches Love Sports, the last of the week. I think it's just Martin here. So, Martin, hold on while I check this text message. Give me a second. This is how you know I'm getting tired. I'm just getting really informal. So, yeah, I'm not going to stay on long. Um, because I still can't get those damn videos uploaded. Let's see. 4133. What's good? Nothing much. Just here chilling. I promise I will go live again, so I am. But I would say if you want to see some good videos from today, visit Michael Gelkin's page. He has better videos of the final part of practice than I do, because I was in the VIP again. And I'll just put it this way: paying that $250 is not the only way to get in VIP at training camp. But if I had paid that $250, like myself, I'd be pissed. that VIP. Wow. Okay, so here's the thing: when you go on the website, they pitch VIP like a great experience. And actually, hold on a second. I'm trying to let my laptop charge so I can like read y'all's comments. But I really got it. I really gotta send this message back. Give me like 30 seconds. Um, yeah, so if you go on the website, they pitch the VIP experience like, oh, you're gonna get access to this platform. There's gonna be food and beverages, and you'll have a good chance of player interaction. And yeah, the first part of that is true. They have built a huge platform for VIP. It's really big. There's a shaded area. There's chairs. There's couches. There's I won't even really call them tables. There are surfaces where you can set your things. Um, but the food and beverages, not so much. So um, the food was, you basically had options of either like small baggies of trail mix or small baggies of blue and white jelly beans. That was the food that was offered. And the beverages was normal stuff like water, soda, stuff like that. I don't think there were any alcoholic beverages. I think there was a place that sold beer on the premises. I don't remember if there was like a bar, but yeah, like it's basically like water and soda and little snacks, which whenever you're paying $250 for an experience that includes food and beverages, I think most people assume it's gonna be there's gonna be a little bit more sustenance to that. Um, so that was interesting to see that they like really did that with like no apologies, straight face, like yes, this is the food and beverages. And then the player interactions. So basically, like the platform goes along the across the length of the field, pretty much. And so if you do end up interacting with a player, it's usually when they're walking like on or off the field. So like there's this one tiny section over by the end zone. It's not like they walk up to the length of the platform. And if you're anywhere in the VIP section, you could have an opportunity to talk to your favorite player. It's like, no, there's like this little fenced in area. So it's like you go across the VIP and then down these little stairs, and there's this little fenced in area where all these people cram in and they're all trying to get stuff signed. And the player that you want to talk to might walk over to that section. Now, I'm not mad at the players for this. They have every right to not walk over to that section for multiple reasons. One, they're there to do a job. Some of them are dealing with things that just may put them in a mood where they don't want to interact with fans. Some of them have to, focus to a certain degree before or after practice. And then, if I'm being honest, some of the things that I hear fans say would make me want to steer clear of them if I was a player. I literally heard, while it was these two particular fans, and one of them was trying to get something signed by Tony Pollard, and they weren't that far away from Tony Pollard. Like, they were close enough to where I was like, if I heard it, he might have heard that. And one of them said something to the effect of like, "Oh yeah, you better get that signed now because you know he's done after this year." Like suggesting that Tony Pollard was a bust and that it was a mistake to I guess franchise tag him or whatever they were trying to say. And so I can only imagine if you're any player that's received any sort of criticism, like walking up to that fan section and just hearing people just blatantly talk shit. Yeah, that would be annoying. I wouldn't want to deal with it. And it kind of took me back to a moment. I think it was an episode of Skywalker Still Show where someone called in and said something to the effect of like, yeah, sometimes I forget that these players are human beings. And it's one of those things that you know it happens, but you don't really expect to ever hear it out of a fan's mouth. That like they forgot that these people that we watch are people. So, but yeah, getting back to the VIP section, it's like that. Like if anybody saw my tweet about fanboys, that's what it was inspired by. Because when I was in VIP on Thursday, there was this group of like kids. They were young kids, probably high school, and somebody got them all VIP passes. But I was standing against the railing right by where the players were practicing, and I guess the area that they were trying to squeeze into wasn't very big, and one of them just kept like leaning up against me, and I couldn't tell if he was just oblivious or if he was being rude or if he was trying to squeeze me out of the spot they were trying to take up because they wanted more space, and instead of just asking, he just thought it would be appropriate to just like keep leaning up against me, and as I scooch over, just keep leaning up against me. But you know, they were just talking about how bad they wanted to be noticed by these players, and it just made me think like, oh man, like you know, people act like when women have a crush on a player, like that makes them less of a fan, or their actions are inappropriate. But I'm sitting here listening to these guys who are just like so desperate for acknowledgement and attention from these players, and I'm like, it's the same thing, just minus the physical attraction. It's just super weird. And then today it was like grown ass men, you know, who are like, you know, fighting for space, like, you know, moving people out the way, running down the stairs, like, I gotta get him to sign this, and just like yelling these players' names while they're trying to work. That's the weirdest thing to me. I'm like, you see these players, they are trying to practice, they're doing drills, they're talking to each other, and you're like yelling their name so they'll look at you and you can take a picture, or so that you can like ask them some dumbass question that they're not gonna answer because they're in the middle of practice. And I'm just like, fanboys are something else. Fangirls will say some wild shit in these chats and online, but like you didn't see like anybody like throwing a bra on the field like while these guys are trying to practice. So yeah, it's just interesting watching that. But that VIP section, like, if they do it the same way next year, I would not. If you have another way of getting in VIP, do that. Or if you just got it like that, if you just balling and you like, yeah, $250 ain't shit. Do you, you know? If you sell memorabilia and you're just like, you know what, $250 is worth the chance that someone might sign this thing for me, have at it. But if you really just think that you're going to have a good experience with food and beverages and you might like get to chat with the player or something, like, that's not what it is. But I enjoyed watching practice. So that's another thing about it. Like, you're not even guaranteed to see the best parts of practice. So like today when they were doing like the red zone stuff and the 2-minute drills and all the 11 on 11 stuff, they were on the other side of the field. So like all the people who paid $20 for sideline access instead of $250 for that big ass platform, they actually got the better end of the stick today. And that didn't really bother me so much. One, because I didn't pay 250, and two, because I could see well enough from where I was, not enough to get you guys really good footage of it, but I could see well enough from where I was, and I also got to see drills being executed on the side of the field where I was, which I like watching that kind of stuff because I like seeing how players move, how their skills are developing. Parts of it was like wide receivers going up against corners. I like watching that kind of stuff. That stuff is interesting to me. Um, but yeah, as far as seeing like, the actual, game like stuff, that wasn't anywhere near us. And if I do get to where I can get these videos off my phone, you'll see what I mean. But yeah, it's a really interesting thing that they've come up with there. Yeah, they're gonna have to do something about that. I don't know what the plan is, but they're gonna have to do something about that. But so that's VIP. Let's see what else. Somebody said, yeah, those fans are AIDS. Is that supposed to say AIDS? I don't know. I'm getting an on-field pass and going straight to the Gatorade coolers. Martin, what are you? Okay, Martin's gonna cut up at training camp when he goes. Noted. Let's see, what else? Somebody on Twitter asked me what I thought about the Zach Martin situation, and here's why I did not respond. I did not respond because I don't have enough information to respond, and I don't know if I'm doing it wrong. I like it comes up a lot, and I think in a couple of Twitter Spaces I've commented on it on what I thought, and those comments were based off of things that were coming from like Mike McCarthy press conferences, for example, where I'm just of the mindset that like if the head coach ain't worried, I ain't worried. And if the head coach is just pretending to not be worried, well, it's whatever. I don't have enough information to have an opinion on it. I don't feel comfortable speaking on it. For the most part, based on everything everybody said, it sounds like everybody still expects Zach Martin to be back. Will it happen during training camp? Will it happen after the preseason? I don't know. But so far, everybody is talking like some way, somehow, Zach Martin will be back. So I'm going with that. And I'm fine with that. I'm fine if I'm wrong. It is what it is. But as far as like, will he be back at training camp? I have no opinion. I don't know enough. I don't know him. I don't know what he's asking for. I don't know what the Cowboys are offering him. I got nothing. So there's that. Let's see, what else? Simi was practicing again today. He did not have the leg sleeve on, which I suppose is a good sign. So here's the thing about quad contusions. Basically, based on what I've learned about quad contusions, I've never had one myself. I've never worked with an athlete who had one. I don't think. But what I learned about quad contusions is that mild ones take 5 to 7 days to heal. More extreme ones can take 2 to 3 months. So when it comes to a quad contusion, the thing that I would be most worried about is there enough pain to cause a change in movement patterns that could put stress on other joints, right? Because it's obvious that he can walk. There doesn't appear to be like an obvious or severe limp, not most of the time when I've looked at him. But when it comes to things like quad contusions, thigh bruises, even things like hamstring strains, sometimes, a lot of times the fear isn't just the injury. The fear is that the injury might cause pain. The pain might cause their movement pattern to change, and then, or it could cause some sort of change with muscle engagement, and then that could lead to putting unnecessary stress on an important joint like the knees or the hips, or something like that. So it's one of those things where it's like, if he's figuring it out, he's figuring it out. I saw a couple of things in his movement patterns that I wasn't necessarily a fan of, but it wasn't so bad that it's like, ooh, he shouldn't be on the field. It was just that I was just like, I didn't like that, but it's probably him trying to play through the contusion that he's dealing with. So, it's like on one hand, you don't want him to have to do that, but on the other hand, he doesn't necessarily seem to be a lock for the 53-man roster based on most predictions. So I can understand him feeling like he needs to be a part of these practices and he needs to show up. And I think for the most part he did. I saw some good things today from Simi. If anybody's watching this and wondering why I'm talking about Simi Fehoko, he's one of my favorite players. So even though he's not the most popular, yes, we're discussing it. But it's like I've been saying all along, like his strength is in his physicality. And I actually got a really good video of a drill that he put that on display in a spectacular way. The couple of times that he got the ball thrown to him deep today, though, there wasn't. Oh, I won't say whose fault it was. I would just say like the ball didn't get to him. It did not end up in his hand. Now I don't, as I recall, I don't think any of those situations were situations where it like hit his hand and he didn't bring it in for a catch like we saw before. The moments I'm thinking of, the ball like sailed over him. So do with that information what you will. Who else did I see? CD looked really good today, of course. I saw some good things from Nashawn Wright that I did not get on camera, unfortunately, and that I have not seen film of. But I've spent so much time like at practice and driving around that there are things that there's a lot of stuff that I have not seen yet. So there's that. Martin said he's good. I asked him, it's still lingering though. He didn't go in detail though. Oh, cool. Noted. Let's see what else. Yeah, this week has been a real learning experience for me. There were people who like promised they would talk to me at this camp. Not all Cowboys, so I shouldn't say at this camp. While I was here in LA, and like these opportunities fell through. Not one, not two, but 3 different people. So there's a lot of content that I was planning to be able to bring y'all that just didn't happen because people either didn't get back to me or yeah, just whatever. So I don't know. It's really tough to not take it personally. It's tough to not be like really in a bad place about it, but I'm just taking it as experience, like, okay, this is a thing that happens. This is a thing that people do apparently. I don't know why, but it's a thing that happens. So here we are. And what else? What do y'all want to know about? Oh, well, it's just Martin in here now. Yeah, I'm gonna keep moving. I mean, at the end of the day, I think our audience is still growing. We're still trying to figure out like a regular recording schedule, So there's a lot that we have to work on in terms of, what we're trying to do and what we're trying to perfect with this. So yeah, that's all I really can do is just all the things that we plan to improve and work on this season. We're gonna keep doing that. Other opportunities will come along and we'll be able to see those to fruition. But for now, I'm taking it as a learning experience. I had a great time this week. While those things didn't go well, there are a lot of things that did and people that I was able to connect with that hopefully will lead to more and better content for y'all. So yeah, that's where we are. I'm trying to see what else. I really think those are the major points. And I only say that because it is so late. And while I'd love to like do like a whole like film watching session, I just feel like, yeah, I'm tired after that one interview. I guess that's another thing that I learned. Today I was like, yeah, I'll do this interview and we'll talk about videos. And now I'm just like, I did the interview and I'm like, honestly, I got a flight to catch very early in the morning. I kind of want to just chill for once today because I got up super early, made the drive out to Oxnard, made the drive back. I ate real quick before Irving Lambert came over, did that, chilled for a minute, and now I'm doing this. And so there's a big part of me that's just kind of like, yeah, talk about what's interesting to you and get the hell off of this live stream. So overall, I would say my biggest takeaways from camp are this. To be honest, to be honest, it's a little bit frustrating that people try to take away so many things, if I'm being real about it. Because I kind of had the revelation this morning. I'm thinking about it like, okay, the offense, they've been, learning various things from Mike McCarthy about how, like, this offense is going to look this season, right? But this week, when they put on pads, like, this is their first opportunity to actually execute anything with anything that even resembles actual gameplay. So when we see them make mistakes, when we see that the timing is thrown off, it actually makes all the sense in the world, because everything that they've done up until this point has either involved no contact at all or no defenders even on the field with them, right? It kind of makes me think about, like, in roller derby, where, like, we might learn a move or a play, and there's this one player named Freight Train, and her play style is in accordance with her name. She has that name for a reason. But even if we say that we're going 50%, or we're going slow, or we're not following through with hits, like, she can be intimidating because of the way that she moves. And so it's like you can see a difference between when skaters are on the track, and they're learning a certain play, and then, like, you add someone like her into the mix, and even though we know we're not going 100%, just the way that she can disrupt things in terms of her opposition can cause mistakes. But that's kind of why we go 50%. We do it so that we can introduce those new stimuli and those new disruptions, and get people used to, okay, you learned what to do, now learn what to do when somebody is trying to stop you from doing it. But they're not trying to stop you at 100%, they're just trying to stop you at 50%. And so it's just like, thinking about it from that perspective, I'm just like, can we just let these dudes learn? Can we just let them figure out what they're doing without, like, trying to pass judgment? They're literally people who are paid to whittle down this roster, and they're watching the right things. I just think it's so weird that so many of us try to take a few clips on Twitter and draw these major conclusions. And I'm like, if someone surprises you from something they do, like, if we take a look at the videos of the receivers going against the corners, and you're like, man, I did not expect that guy to be able to beat that guy. Okay, cool. But whenever we're trying to, like, make whole ass predictions about, I don't know, how the entire season is gonna go, that just feels like a bit much. Martin says, I'm scared because of her name. She's scary, bro. But yeah, it's only been 3 days in pads. So it's like, I think some of the commentary in terms of, like, okay, look at this person's movement, look at this person's skill development, I think some of that is okay. But I think there has to be a line drawn when it comes to, how many conclusions we can draw. I would say Aisha Morrison, I look at her tweets, and I think the way that she evaluates what she sees from camp, I would say that's a very appropriate level of evaluation. But some of this other stuff, it just feels like a bit much, especially when it comes to a mistake. Not something that we see consistently. Like, we're just seeing, a few mistakes here and there, and people will draw, like, a lot of conclusions from a couple of mistakes, And so that can be frustrating, especially when you're rooting for a player to win and you see, people kind of dragging their name like that. So that's been kind of like one of my biggest takeaways, especially after, watching things live and kind of hearing what players are saying to each other and getting, like, little pickups of what coaches are saying to the players. I'm just kind of like, yeah, let them work. I don't want to spend so much time, like, drawing conclusions and stuff like that. And speaking of hearing coaches, there was a fan next to me in VIP today, a Cowboys super fan, you might say, and Schottenheimer was telling the players something in between drills, and she was like, yeah, this new OC, he's very vocal. He's always yelling at the players and telling them what to do and remind them of stuff. And I was like, yeah, he is. Like, to me, I'm like, yeah, of course he is, And she's like, Kellen wasn't like that. And I was like, oh, well, what did Kellen do? She was like, nothing. He would just kind of stand there. He would tell them when to do something different, but, he wasn't correcting them as much. And I'm just like, oh, interesting, So that defense should beat the offense. Their continuity is there. Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think it makes sense to kind of expect that in a way. Um, what else? So yeah, I would say those are my major things. VIP sucks. Um, People are not dependable, and we draw way too many conclusions from training camp. Those are the most major takeaways about training camp from a fangirl's perspective. Um, Micah Parsons is a fucking monster, but y'all knew that. I'm trying to think of what else, if there's anything that really surprised me. Nothing that surprised me. I got to really see Greer and Rush in action, and I know like I've been in a couple of Twitter spaces like wondering, will Cooper Rush definitely be the number 2 quarterback? As it stands right now, I would say yes. The thing that he's got on Greer seems to be accuracy. Honestly, um, there are questions at the kicker position, of course. I didn't like most of what I saw today, but from what I hear, it's really hard to kick on those fields. So there's that. And yeah, shout out to that super fan. Yeah, no, shout out to her for real. Like she showed me like 3 pictures on her phone that she took with Dak, and I'm just like, bitch, the fuck? How did you do that? They were over the course of like it was like over time. It wasn't like 3 pictures from this week, but it's just like, I can't even get one. Um, yeah. So yeah, that's been my experience overall. I'll have more to say um, once I'm able to get these damn videos off my phone. It's really frustrating that I can't. But I think what I'm gonna have to do is hook up my external hard drive and get some of the files that are currently on my laptop off my laptop, and then hook up the phone and then try to import them from the phone again, and hopefully that works. I thought what I would be able to do, because like in StreamYard there's a present option, and so I thought what I would be able to do would be to present the videos from the phone, but apparently you can't use that feature on phones. So yeah, I've just got to figure it out, guys. I'm sorry, but I guess that's another thing I learned. In addition to the fact that people suck and Cowboys training camp VIP leaves a lot to be desired, I learned that there are limited features through StreamYard on here. But yeah. Oh, and there's definitely another reason why I would say you could do the VIP if you wanted to. Because earlier I mentioned reasons why you might not want to and reasons why you might want to. Being that close, if you are a person who likes to watch players do drills and stuff, being that close and being able to hear them, that was pretty cool. But still, I would just say for the sake of like a quality experience, it's something that should be revisited. I kind of feel bad wanting to sign off now that I got like more people watching than when I started, but yeah. Unless y'all have questions, I don't have that much else to say. When I get back in town and we do an episode like with Elena there, I might have more to say. But yeah, it's been a long ass day, so I really don't have that much else to say. VIP just for the jelly beans. Yes, if you have a craving for blue and white jelly beans, or you just want to collect stuff, by all means, do the VIP. But I would say you might do better just buying a bag of jelly beans and picking out the blue and white ones. It probably would not cost you to $150. And like real talk, I don't want to make it sound like I'm ungrateful, like because the first VIP experience was gifted to me for my birthday. So like I definitely am grateful. It was awesome, because had I not had the experience, I'd be wondering what if, like, oh, I wonder what it's like to be over there. Like that would be so cool. So it's like now I know. And when I talked to Simi for a few seconds, it was on my way to VIP. There's like a long ramp from one side of the field to the other to get to the VIP section, and so you can't stop on it. That's That's part of the reason why I only talked to him for a few seconds, because you're not supposed to stop. There's signs that say don't stop, keep moving, and I think it's because they don't want you to stop and talk to players that might be along the fence. But he just so happened to be there, and I was like, "Oh hey, how are you feeling?" And he was like, "I'm gonna power through it," and I was like, "Cool." And that was all I had time to say without stopping so long that I feared security would come and get me. So I just kept walking. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Any other questions? No? 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 Okay. Well, like I said, I've got an early flight tomorrow. I've got an event as soon as I land in Austin. Um, yeah, shit never stops. I've got an event as soon as I land in Austin, and then I've got to prepare for another con next weekend. So we are gonna get another episode in, and I should have time to figure out how to get these videos off the phone. So next episode, hopefully Elena will be there. Hopefully we have more videos to watch and stuff to show you. And yeah, it will be a good full episode, and we'll actually announce the day and time well in advance so more people can actually plan to show up. Um, Martin, check your phone in a few minutes. I'm gonna DM you. And to everybody else, this has been another special episode of Bitches Love Sports. I'm Bitch 2, and I'm out.